In a small town where everyone knew each other's name, Liam lived with his dad in a modest house near the busy main street. His dad worked long, hard hours in the family garage, fixing cars with grease-stained hands and a quiet pride in what he did. Liam was the son of that humble mechanic, a boy with bright eyes and a mind full of dreams far bigger than the small town walls around him. Liam loved to build things. At school, he was the kind of kid who would take apart broken gadgets just to understand how they worked. But fitting in was hard. Most of the other kids laughed at him or ignored him, especially Carter, the son of Mr. Whitmore. Carter was popular, rich, and never missed a chance to remind Liam and others where they stood. Mr. Whitmore was the wealthy businessman who owned all the car dealerships in town. He was known for his sharp suits and sharper words. One night, at a school fundraiser, Mr. Whitmore looked down at Liam and his dad and said loudly, "That boy will never amount to anything." The crowd went quiet. Emily, Liam's childhood friend who watched everything from a distance, could see the hurt in Liam's eyes. But beneath it all, she also saw a fire beginning to burn, a fire that no one expected to control. School wasn't easy for Liam. Every day he faced whispers and sneers from kids like Carter and his friends. Teachers often looked the other way, giving the rich kids the benefit of the doubt, but Liam didn't let their words stop him. Instead, he worked harder, staying late after classes to tinker with anything he could find. Old motors, broken radios, even discarded scrap metal. One day, the school announced a science fair. Liam saw it as his chance to prove himself. Using parts from the garage and his own ideas, he built a small machine that could sort recyclable materials automatically. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. Proud, Liam entered the competition. At the science fair, Mr. Whitmore arrived with Carter, dressed in a sharp suit. When he saw Liam's invention, he laughed loudly. "This is a joke," he sneered. "Your boy is wasting his time with this nonsense." He even convinced the judges to remove Carter from the competition to make way for serious projects. Carter left the room, smirking. Though Liam didn't win first place, he earned second. It wasn't the top prize, but it was a victory all the same. Liam's dad was there, quietly smiling. "See, you don't need their approval," he said. "You've got what it takes." But Mr. Whitmore wasn't done. He pulled Liam aside later and said coldly, "You'll never go anywhere, kid. Be happy fixing cars like your dad." The words cut deep, but Liam held on to his dad's belief, feeling the quiet strength inside him grow stronger. High school was a whole new world for Liam. The hallways still echoed with whispers, and Carter's sneers followed him like a shadow. But Liam was different now, quieter, more focused. After school, he worked alongside his dad in the garage, learning everything about engines and machines. At night, when the house was silent, Liam stayed up watching online videos about engineering, dreaming bigger than anyone around him imagined. Emily watched Liam change. She saw him build small machines and gadgets in his bedroom, his eyes shining with hope. He never talked much about his plans, but she knew he was preparing for something important. Meanwhile, Carter drifted through school, relying on his family's money and connections. Teachers praised him, and doors opened easily. Liam knew he had to work twice as hard to get even a little attention. Then came the biggest surprise. Liam quietly applied to colleges far from their small town, aiming for the best engineering schools. When the letters came, one stood out. He'd been accepted to a top program, with a full scholarship. But Liam kept it to himself, unsure how to tell his dad or anyone else. Graduation was coming. The whole town buzzed with excitement, especially since Mr. Whitmore was invited to give the graduation speech. Emily felt a knot in her stomach, worried about what he might say. Just the day before the ceremony, Liam's dad fell ill, a sudden heart attack that shook their family. Liam almost thought about not going to graduation at all, but his dad, even weak, held his hand and said, "Go, this is your moment. Show them what you're made of." With his dad's blessing, Liam made a decision. Tomorrow, he would face the crowd, no matter what. The day of graduation arrived with a mix of excitement and nerves in the air. Families filled the school auditorium, chatting quietly and watching the students take their seats. Emily found her spot among the crowd, her heart pounding as she waited for Liam to show up. When Mr. Whitmore took the stage, the room grew silent. Dressed in a sharp suit, he began his speech with pride, boasting about his success and what it meant to be truly successful. His words were heavy with pride, and looked down on those who, like Liam, came from modest backgrounds. Emily could feel the tension building, wondering how Liam would handle this moment. Suddenly, the principal announced the valedictorian. To everyone's surprise, it was Liam's name. A hush fell over the crowd, some faces showing shock, others disbelief. Emily's eyes searched for Liam, and there he was, walking slowly to the stage, wearing simple clothes borrowed from his dad's closet, looking nervous but determined. Liam stepped up to the microphone, took a deep breath, and looked out at the sea of faces. "I wasn't sure I'd be here today," he began, his voice steady. "Some people told me I'd never amount to anything. They said I should be happy just fixing cars like my dad, but they didn't know. They didn't see the hours I spent learning, dreaming, building, and they didn't know what my dad taught me, that hard work, heart and belief in yourself matter more than anything." Then with a proud smile, Liam revealed his secret. "I've been accepted to MIT on a full scholarship, to study engineering." The crowd gasped, some whispering in surprise. Mr. Whitmore's face turned pale, his usual confidence shaken. Carter sat frozen, unable to hide his shock. Liam's voice grew stronger. "Some tried to bury me, but they didn't know I was a seed. I'm just getting started." The room erupted in applause. Even the teachers who doubted him now stood, clapping for the boy who had proved everyone wrong. Mr. Whitmore quietly slipped out of the room, defeated. Emily felt tears welling up. This was more than a victory, it was a turning point, a reminder that where you come from does not decide where you're going. After the applause died down, and the crowd began to leave, Liam found his dad waiting outside. Though still weak from his heart attack, his father's eyes shone with pride. Liam handed him a copy of his valedictorian speech. Tears rolled down his dad's cheeks as he read the words he had helped inspire. The days that followed were full of promise. Liam packed his bags and prepared to leave for college, ready to chase the dreams that once seemed impossible. Emily watched him board the bus, feeling a mix of joy and hope for what lay ahead. She knew Liam's journey was just beginning. Meanwhile, back in town, Mr. Whitmore's business began to face challenges. Rumors spread about a new, more efficient car battery design that was quickly gaining attention. What no one knew was that Liam had quietly helped create it, working with a team of engineers during summer internships. His invention was outselling Whitmore's old models, quietly shifting the power in the industry. Emily's voice closed the story with a quiet truth. People like Mr. Whitmore believe they own the future because of money and status. But sometimes, the future is built in a small garage, by someone with grease on their hands and fire in their heart. Liam showed us all that real success isn't about where you start, it's about how hard you're willing to fight, and how much you believe in yourself. And so the boy who was told he'd never amount to anything, stood tall, proving that no dream is too big, no background too small, to reach the stars.